Oh my goodness, y'all. Do you see? This is the glow from the sunset. It's such a gorgeous sunset. What a beautiful way to end this beautiful day. We finally sprang forward. It's International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to all the ladies. And it's just so gorgeous. It's like orangey and pinkish on this side. It's purplish behind me. What a beautiful day. It's like 6:55, y'all, and the sunset is hitting on the first day of spring forward. It's not spring yet, but like, you know, this is a sign that we did it. We survived. We made it through. 7 p.m. sunsets are back. 8 p.m. sunsets are right around the corner. And right now, literally, I'm thinking about the fact that, like, I can't believe I survived this winter. Like, well, I believe it because this was the first time that I was actually intentional about having a plan of action to face the season. Like, this is my first time, 27 years old, been here for 16 years, and I just didn't know how to survive winters. But I made a real effort towards that. And I thrived. So many wins. I took care of myself. I was social. I was outside. I was active. I had hobbies. I had extracurricular activities. I had nightcaps after those extracurricular activities. Like, I really tried my best to show up as much as I could throughout the winter. And it feels so good that I survived this. So what this video is about, but I will make a video talking more about that. But in this video, I wanted to talk about the event that I just attended at Leica Gallery Boston. I made a video a couple days ago talking about how, you know, they had they have an event that they hosted today that was a collaboration between Concept Aware, I believe that's the podcast. That's a podcast, right? I believe that's a podcast. And a Yellow Rose project. I only know about a Yellow Rose project. But basically, a Yellow Rose project is this basically like a photo curation, community curated photo project centered around the ratification of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote in 1920. And so this group of photographers, they did an open call, and over 100 women submitted photos of their interpretation of, you know, like the ratification of the 19th Amendment. And so they put that in a book. They've been sharing the story everywhere. I believe I literally got to catch up with basically the creator of this project, and I believe that she lives in Worcester. Because I'm like, wait, am I overlapping conversations? Because she might be from my city. And I'm like, yeah, I need to connect with her about that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're literally right here. But essentially, oh, should I turn this on? Is it getting too dark in here? All right, okay, I'm gonna make it short and sweet because I'm actually very tired, very sleepy. But it was a really, really cool event. They started off with like the live podcast portion of it, and then it was like a photo share. And I like that it was kind of like a sharing circle. So they pulled up everybody's work, and then you had a couple minutes to talk about your work and how it connects to the ratification of the 19th Amendment. And the piece that I submitted for it was a photo from my Birds Flying High series, where precisely the one where my face is covered and veiled and my body is like blah, doing things. And, you know, I spoke about my perspective as an immigrant woman. And I love that there were other Black women in the room who spoke about, like, yes, it was ratified, but othered women, didn't have the right until later on. Because I was like, that was what I was, if you go back and watch the video, that's what I was scared of. I was like, I don't want these people to be like, what's going on? But even more nuanced than that, because there's so many layers to this. As an immigrant woman, right, I'm especially like behind a wall. I live here, I create here, I live in community here. I don't know that I see myself living here forever long term, but I've been here for 16 years. That's very, very significant. And I've never voted. I've never gotten any opportunity to share my thoughts, to steer an election in one way or another, or to even be part of a major political moment of, like, you know, the people who are like voting for the first time at 18 and they're like, I voted for Obama, and like that was the first president I voted for. I never had that. And it's so funny because as I was heading to the event today, I was like, I wonder when I'm gonna get to vote. I genuinely had a moment that I was like, when am I gonna get to vote? whatever, like who knows what, I end up moving to a different country and I go through the naturalization process and then I get to vote maybe 35, 40 years old, or I, move back to Haiti. I'm happy to move back to Haiti. I've been saying I'm moving back to Haiti, but is it like when I move back to Haiti and who knows how many years that I'm finally going to be able to be like, I'm voting for the first time ever, like my opinions, my thoughts, whatever thoughts that I have on a certain direction that I want the government to move into, like when am I gonna get that? Am I gonna get that before 40? God, I wish I had like some sort of like a prophecy that's like you're gonna get to vote for the first time at 42, because it's like it's so uncertain to me right now, you know what I mean? Like that's the reality that I live within, or that's how complex my life here has been. And so I'm so glad that it was well received. A lot of people had so much to say about my work, and I really, really appreciate that I just had the space to share my story. Again, not that you have to, but if you do, go watch that video. I was very nervous about this. I don't know, I was like, I don't want to offend anybody. But then it's so funny because like I am in my own world. So in my world, I'm very aware of this is my story. This is my song. I don't get to vote in this country. But like I found it very interesting because I'm like, I don't want to offend anybody by saying that I'm an immigrant here and I don't get to vote here. But like, that wasn't even the conversation at all. The conversation was, even the white women's was like, nigga, we scared. We not going to get to vote anymore. Because, I mean, like, all the craziness, voter suppression, and everything that's going on, like, it's just such a, oh my gosh, it's like a microcosm of a microcosm of a microcosm, you know what I mean? And so I was like, I don't want anybody to like side-eye me. I'm just so used to being othered as the immigrant in the room, as the immigrant story, the immigrant perspective. But I found it very interesting that there is a wider conversation beyond my own existence that's like, girl, I understand you've never gotten to vote, but like those of us who have gotten to vote, or those of us who have been able to create change in a way or another, this right might be taken away from us. And I think like conversations like this, where you get to be in a room where it's not just about you, right? You get to hear the complexity of like different people. It was so interesting. Like there was someone that was like, her grandmother was born like around the time that the 19th Amendment was ratified, and so she like didn't get to vote. She like passed away not too soon after. Like it was like they just did that thing and she did not get to express herself in that way. There's another woman who like lives in the US. She lives in Massachusetts. She's from Scotland. Her partner is Trinidadian, so her kid won't get to vote here. Or like, where does that child get to vote? You know what I mean? There's just so many layers. And then you have my story. I live here, been living here for 16 years. I have a social security number, but I'm not American. I'm not naturalized. I don't have a green card. I don't have the whatever the need be. And it's like, I find it very interesting that I'm thinking about it right now, that the only thing that stands in the way, oh my gosh, I wish I realized this earlier. The only thing right now that stands in the way between me and being able to vote in this country is a man. Now I'm mad. Like a man has to come into my life for me to be able to express myself in this. Okay, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm gonna bring that to the group chat because now I need to vent. So yeah, I shared my work and I got some really cool feedback on it, and I shared my progress and my process and kind of like what I've been processing and how the body of work is just developing, and it's just so good. I've been sitting on this body of work since 2021. I shot a second chapter of it in 2024 when I went back to Cutty Hunk, and it's just like a body of work that I return to every 2 years. It's where I'm processing grief. I'm processing political grief in Haiti and the US, and just like how complex my life is. So it was nice to kind of be like, this is the it. So yeah, it was really, really cool people, amazing room, amazing group of women. I believe it was like 100 stories that were submitted. And they're like, wait, should we just like make a second book? And I'm like, yes, please put me in the second book. It would be an honor and a pleasure. But again, just what stood out to me the most was just the nuance of conversation in the room, the different perspectives that folks had to bring. It was all photography. Some folks had like diptychs of like ways that they were telling stories. Some of them were layers. Some folks use film. Some folks use like gathered materials. Some is self-portraiture. Some it's landscape. It's just like all our perspectives are so different. But we're all talking about the same subject. We're all seeking hope, right? We're all trying to keep hope alive through our work, through telling these stories, through these moments, through showing up in community. I feel like we need this now more than ever. So that felt really, really good. That felt so good to be in that space. What else is in my mind right now? I'm definitely excited to stay in touch with Leica Gallery in Boston. If you're in Boston, you should totally check them out. A really, really cool space, amazing group of people, amazing staff, the curator's amazing, and they're hosting events, which I didn't even know, and now I'm definitely gonna get to hang out there. And while I was in there, I was like, wait, do I also get to play around with the camera? She was like, yeah, which one do you want to play around with? Girl, I fell in love with this camera. Is it the M or the Q? Chat, I forgot which one it was called. I think it was the Q3. It was either the Q3 or M3, and I was like, oh my god, this is like my dream point and shoot camera. When I tell you that camera is good, you just hold it and you're like, oh, I see. I see. Girl, it was a $7,000. It's like an $8,000 camera for a point and shoot. A point and shoot. Girl, it's such a nice camera. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna see if I can rent it. I would love to rent it if I'm doing like a road trip. Whatever my birthday trip is this summer, I'm gonna rent it for that trip and just like take it with me from like oh, what's the lens place? There's a new place that I've been renting from and I forgot their name. But I'll rent it just to test it out. But yeah, that is what is top of mind for me right now. I'm sorry, lighting is horrible since the sun has now set. But the event was a success. I'm really, really glad that even though I was overwhelmed, I shared my story. Your story matters. Your story matters. Your story belongs in the room in its full complexity. And I hope that you are also able to find spaces where you can show up as as your true self. Because I'm like, I don't know who these people are. How are they gonna take it? Would they be offended that I'm talking about America in this way? But they were like, yep, this is it. Like, this is it. And I just felt truly seen and supported in that moment. Those were initial thoughts. Obviously, I might end up talking about it in a different video. Definitely after I take a nap or something. But it was cool. I'm going to put together an Instagram post, and it's going to be on my website as well. So you can kind of get a sense of my thoughts in a more cohesive manner. In the post, I'm going to take a nap, wake up, get the Instagram post out. Because I want to post it today on International Women's Day for the women's. So yeah, you'll get more context on the Instagram post. I'll also share the artist statement that makes more sense, not whatever Sleepy Lynn just said. But yes, your story belongs in the room in its full complexity. Whatever it is that you're comfortable enough to share, there is someone that needs that story. There's someone that needs to be inspired by that story. It's so funny because I had such a magical moment with someone who was literally sitting right next to me. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. I took a photo of her work, but I had literally just shared. I told my story, and I was like, blah 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 da 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 da, and they were like, wow, this is crazy. And then a couple slides later, the person who was sitting next to me, it was her turn to go, and as she was getting up, she said, "C'est moi," and then she was like, "C'est pour toi." It means like, oh, it's my turn, and then she was like, "This one's for you." I fell out. In her work, she talks about like and I love it, like the older white women really surprise me. Like their work is spicy, their work is funky, it's very expressive. But basically it was like self-portraiture, and she was talking about like processing just like what's happening with y'all's president up in there. So I just found it interesting that like as she was getting up, she was like, "Oh, it's my turn," and she was like, "This one's for you." And it was just kind of like, and she's like a big advocate. A lot of the photographers in there who were like big advocates for voting rights and like getting people out to the polls, and like they do the work, they do the volunteering work, and so it was like a two-pronged thing, right? Them getting to, because I was telling the curator about this, that a lot of times like we know certain issues are important, but unless you're able to put a face to it, it kind of goes over your head. And I'm not saying it's totally fine, but for example, if you don't connect to an issue specifically, seek out stories. Seek out stories online. Seek out stories in your neighborhood, in your community, so that you're able to put a face to that issue, so that when it comes up, you're like, oh, I know so and so is dealing with this. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's like the most practical way to put it. And maybe I don't know. I don't even know that it would be fake. You're being intentional about it. You're being intentional. Listen, I don't know anything about this issue, but every time I hear people talk about immigration, I'm gonna think about Lynn. Now I have a face to put to it. I think it's like the human mind with memory or whatever. There's something in there, and so for me, like that's something that I've again experienced in college. Like my professor, we were doing a macroeconomics class, and then my professor like had me share my story with my classmates to be like, you're hearing, and mind you, this is like Trump had just gotten into office, 2017. And there were certain students on campus who had certain thoughts about this or that, like conversations around immigration. And so my professor made it a point to have me stand in front of the class and say, hey, this is my story. So instead of like, the immigrants are coming here and they're stealing our jobs, it's like, no, this person who I'm in the class with, she sits next to me, we work on the group projects together, this person who is right here in this space with me, and who is probably smarter and higher qualified, and like you can see how hardworking she is, you can see how highly she is involved around campus. This is somebody that is dealing with this issue. It makes it personal because you have a face to put to it. So I'm just saying that it's two-pronged. That's where I was going off with that. It's two-pronged in the sense that when you have such a broader issue like voting rights, like immigration, like the big things, now all the 30 people in that room, they have one point of reference, that is Lynn, if nothing else, right? It's like, oh yeah, there was a girl, I went to an event and she said she had immigration stuff. I have somebody who, by the way, I shared my story when I went to Mass Mocha. I spent a weekend at Mass Mocha this time last year, I believe. And I started weeping up in there, and I was crying to the people. And she literally checks on me from time to time. It's been over a year. She checks on me from time to time. We spoke just a couple weeks ago. She's like, you have been on my mind. How are you doing? How's everything? Because she has a face to put to the issue. You think about immigrants that are scrambling, that are just like freaking out, figuring out, what am I going to do with my life? It's not your story, but you're able to be like, oh, Lynn, let me just send her a quick text and be like, girl, is everything okay at home? How you doing, girl? And so that is one part of it. And on the other side, for me, I think I'm so in my own world and I'm so in my own head when it comes to these issues that I'm like, is anybody speaking up for me? Does anybody care? Does anybody see me? Does anybody know these, the reality of what this actually is, the layers of what this actually is. And so being in that space and in that room where a lot of white women are like, no, I be outside, I be going to the polls, I tell the people to vote, and I do this and I do that, and I'm trying to and like seeing that, like, oh no, there are advocates, there are people who advocate, there are people who give their time, there are people who take the time out of their day to educate others, there are people who kind of like who do the amplifying, where I can only do so much. They can take my voice, they can take my story and push it even further and amplify it even more. And so with that lady getting up and she was like, that's me, and then she said, this one's for you. This one's for you was very big for me because I don't have a voice here. But it feels nice that Who knows, as she continues to do the work that she does, Lynn might pop up in her mind once or twice here and there. And that's very, very special. I'm surprised that I was able to get 20 minutes in because, girl, I literally closed my eyes and almost took a nap here just now. But I just wanted to get this out, and I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful to the Yellow Rose Project team, the Leica Gallery team. Better, more concise thoughts later, but you know, it's all love. Okay, bye.